Hello, this is 4-1% and decimals. So today we're going to look at some percents and decimals, I guess, and how to convert and stuff, and what all of those mean. So first of all, what's a percent? Percent is basically how much of a portion it is, with 100% being the entire thing. So 100% equals 1. You can write that down um, in your notes or something. So for example, 50% is half or 0.5, right? Because 100% is 1, then 50% is half of that, which is 0.5. Now, what does this mean? 50% means half. So for example, if you have like a pie, 50% is half of it. Right? Say the left half. And then the other 50% would be the unshaded portion, right? So, for example, if we had a pie split up into fourths this time, it'd be 25% each, right? So 25% is the same as 1/4, 1/4. Now, if you've realized by now, percents have a lot to do with decimals as well. If you've done conversions before, for example, 68% to a decimal, um, right, that's 0.68. This percent sign basically moves the decimal point 2 places or multiplies by 100 to the right. So 0.68, if you move the decimal point to the right once, twice, ends up here, right? Then you don't need the zero. That's 68%. Something you need to keep in mind is that the percent is always, so 68, the percent is always bigger than the actual number. So if it's 68%, then that's representing 0.68, which is smaller than 68, if you could not tell. So, for example, say we had this. So, say we shade this portion and this portion. What percentage of the entire rectangle has been shaded in? If you said 50%, you'd be correct, right? This is half, which is 50%. Okay, so we won't do much practice with that because it should be pretty easy. Decimals, on the other hand, again, 100% is the same as 1. So decimals are very easy to change into percents. For example, if you have 0.5, that's 50%. Right? You have the decimal point, you move it twice, you get 50. So just use common sense. So your percent, it'll do 50, right? The percent should always be bigger than the number that it represents. So 50% represents 0.5, right? 50 is bigger than 0.5. If you move the decimal point in the wrong way and the number that comes out here is actually bigger than your percent, then you did something wrong. So for example, if you 50% and you wanted to find out what it represented as a decimal, and you move the decimal point the wrong way and you move the other way instead and you got 5,000, right? That'd be wrong because the number that it represents is always smaller than the number that's inside the decimal and vice versa, right? The number that's inside the fraction, in this case 50, will always be bigger than the number that represents, which represents 0.5. So just use your common sense and this simple trick that would move the decimal point. So let's do some examples with that. I want you to convert 0.63 into a percent. Okay, so if you said 63%, you'd be correct. So you move the decimal point twice, right? And again, the number that's inside the percent, in this case 63, should be bigger than the number that it represents, which is 0.63. Right? 63 is bigger than 0.63, so your decimal points have moved in the right direction. Okay, let's do a couple more examples. 0.32. What percent is that? Very easy. That's 32%. Right, you move the decimal point twice, 32. You end up with 32. Okay, let's do a bit trickier one. 0.08. What percent is that? If you said 8%, you'd be correct. This is not 80%, because if you move the decimal point twice, 8. 8.00. 8%. Okay, now let's do the opposite. So, say we're given 43%. Write that as a decimal. If you said 0.43, that'd be correct. So, again, the number that it represents is going to be smaller than the number that's inside. So, in this case, 43, right? So, you move the decimal point once, twice, 0.43. Or if you move it in the opposite direction, you would have added 2 more zeros, and that'd be 4,300. That is wrong. So just make sure, check your answer, use your common sense. Let's do one more example of this. Right. Let's do 72% as a decimal. Okay, if you said 0.72, you'd be correct. Move the decimal twice. Right here, 0.72. Okay, let's do one more example before we end the class. So I'm going to write 5.3% as a decimal. This might be a little bit tricky, but just use what you know and move the decimal point accordingly. Pause the video if you need more time. Okay, great. So the correct answer is 0.053. Why is this? Well, just add a bunch of zeros first, just as like buffers. And we know that we need to move the decimal point 2 times, and that our answer is going to be smaller than 5.3. So move the decimal point to the left. 1, 2. So get rid of the 0. 0.0. Write the 0 here. Decimal point right there. 0.53. 0.053. And then this is 5.3%, not 53%. Even though it has 5 and 3 here, there's a 0 here. So just keep that in mind as well. Just move the decimal point and don't jump to your conclusions too quickly. Okay, so that's all I have for you for this class. The homework is in Google Classroom. And yeah, there's going to be a test on Friday, the last test actually. Yeah, enjoy.